Hey, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Cami. Today I have a fun layout. We're going to be doing a single page, and I'm actually inspired by some stamps. I want to do some background stamping. So I'm thinking of bringing these two in, and then I do have these background stamps as well. And then this one, it has the word friendship on it. Remember this moment. This life is blessed. This is the new Remember This Moment stamp set. So I know a lot of these products are selling out fast with the Close to My Heart news that came out. So I will still link everything down below so that you have the names of everything. And then if you can't find it on our website, if it's sold out, you might be able to find it secondhand. But I just want to give you that option. Continue going back to the website. A lot of stuff is coming back into stock. So hopefully things calm down and things get back into stock. But you'll have the opportunity to buy from me until April. The end of April is when you'll no longer be able to select the links below. But the website itself will still be active through June. But let's go ahead and clear these out. And I'll bring in my photos. So the pictures we're documenting today are of a game night we had with some friends. It's so fun. Our friend's little girl is now 8, so she can actually play games with us. And yeah, it's really fun hanging out with her. We've known them since she was 2, so very fun watching her grow. And now we get to actually play games with her, and just love being a part of that little family for so long. I'm going to bring in the Sweet Memories collection again. And that one is the one with all these florals and this type of paper. So these are the Sweet Memories. Again, things are selling out so fast on our website. I don't know if you'll be able to get your hands on this, but I'll have it linked below if you want to watch for it. And then the coordinating colors for this paper pack is Mink, Mist, Mulberry, Periwinkle, Sage, and White Daisy. So what I'm thinking is I brought in some mist paper, and then I'm planning on doing a 1/4 inch border, and then I have a strip of, I like to go through my scraps first before I cut into new paper to see if I can use these. So then, what if I brought that in here and did something like this? And actually, since my husband and I are both looking that direction, I might bring these over into this side so they're looking into the layout. And then have our focal photo. And then Mink was also a coordinating color. So then I could bring this behind here and keep a little border going all the way around of the white. And then cut this down here. And then I have this title all together here. This was one of the punch outs. It was actually meant for project 3, but I've just kind of been doing my own thing with those. So I still have that left over. And that could go above this photo. And then I could bring in my stamps and do a whole bunch of background stamping on the white. So I'm going to cut down this Mink paper, and I'll be right back. I got the mist gutted, so it's 12 by 12, and then I gut out the center. The white is 11.5 squared. So that gives us a 1/4 inch border going all the way around. This strip of photos, I cut the mat to roughly 3 inches by 11.25. So that'll hang over just slightly onto the mist. And then this one I haven't cut down yet, but I'll cut it down to 11.5. There we go. And then we'll bring this one in right about here. You could even save more paper and cut out that 3 inches, but I have another one of these and I'm not too worried about that. 3 inches. And then the title could go right there. and then a whole bunch of background stamping. So I'm going to set all of those aside, flip my Versamat over, and the back is this foam. So if there's anything that I would recommend getting your hands on before it's too late, is the Versamats. I don't know if they're still available on the website. I haven't looked, but it is linked down below in the description box. Let's start with this one first. Grab out my block. Okay. And then I like to bring in some scratch paper so I can stamp off the edges. So I have mist and mink ink. I think I'm going to start with the mink first. I'm going to bring in a blending brush, and I'm going to come in around the edges just to define this against the mist paper. So I'm just going to bring this in and then just start off the paper and bring it into the paper. And then I'm going in a circular motion. Mink ink is very light. So it takes quite a bit to get to the color that I want. Okay, so I got that done all the way around the edges. I got it a little darker in some areas, but that's actually okay since I'll be bringing in some stamps. The nice thing is this is white cardstock, so if I mess up and I don't like how it's looking, I can always just cut a new one or even flip this over and use the back. It's inexpensive white cardstock. So I inked it up, and I'm just giving it a second to soak into the paper. And there we go. And if it doesn't stamp perfect, I'm okay with that. I'm not wanting it completely perfect. Here I'm just doing a second generation. I think it'll be beneficial if I bring some of these papers back in. So this one was about in this area. This was roughly in this area. So I could bring one down here. And then I'll do the second generation kind of going this way. We have these cute little corner pieces. We could stamp kind of there. We could even add some roses in. Not sure how I feel about that. Let's add some of the and I might actually do it in second generation first. Bring my title in. So then I'm bringing in the mist, and I'll bring in this clock with the butterflies. So this one I'm thinking maybe hang off the edge up here. Maybe tuck it up over here. Maybe come out over here. Let's go over here first. Awesome. Okay. And then we'll have one hanging off. Maybe right down here. So I'm just going to ink up the top half of that. You can't really tell because I used black on it. So the black kind of stains. There we go. Let's bring in some more mink over here. I like how that mink ink goes along with my sweater, the table. Okay, so bringing in more mink. And what stamp? It's this postage. Actually going to use this narrow one. And I don't know that I've ever used this one, so I'm just seasoning it on my hand. And you should do this with all of these clear, well, probably all stamps in general. Just kind of rub them on your hand, get rid of any manufacturing powder, any debris that might be on there. It'll just stamp better. I'm trying to decide, do I want the square over here, or I might want it going this way. That stamp there. I'll put it right about here. Do some second generation. I'm gonna try not to stamp up that square again. It's pretty easy to just hang that off, and then I'm actually just gonna use some, there we go, and just dry it off so it doesn't make anything bleed. And then let's go up here with this one, maybe right there. And we'll do a second generation. We'll do a first generation over the top of these, right about there. So I'll just ink up that much, right there. Okay, we need more mist ink. We have this little rose. We used this one already. Was the one we did over here, which was very light. Here's some more background stamps. So I have these splatters, I have these dash lines, dots, hearts, and then I also have this one. So we have peace, comfort, just because we have some more postage. Maybe I'll bring in some of these. Let's do these little fun zigzags. It's kind of the fun thing about the random stamping is there's no right or wrong. It's just grab something and start stamping. Let's put one here. And do some second, third generations. we have this tiny little starburst, I want to call it. I am actually going to grab some alcohol. It's no longer sticky. I don't know if you can see that. It won't stick to my block anymore. So one way to do that is just rub some alcohol on the back. And I'm actually going to do the same thing with this splatter one that's no longer sticky either. So rub some alcohol on the back. It'll just clean it up and make it re-sticky so that it sticks to your blocks easier. Okay, I used rubbing alcohol on my stamps. And look at how much more sticky they are. They stick now. No problem. Same with this one. Super sticky again. So just a little bit of rubbing alcohol does the trick. And it dries super fast. So just give it a second to finish drying and then stick it on your block. Okay, so I'm going to use mist ink on this little starburst. It needs something more, but I'm going to bring in my other papers and then see what I think it needs. So let's flip this back over. Here's my frame in that mist. Let's maybe bring this down to like 7.5. So for this application, I'm actually going to use one of my foam daubers and my little tool. See how that goes on darker than how we applied with the blending brush. All right, and that just makes it pop off of there even more. And then I'm going to put this back into my baggie so it doesn't get lost. I feel like this needs a little more, and we could even bump this up. And then have another strip. Let me see if I have a sage in my scrap. I do. This one is sage. So I could do something like that. And maybe on the top as well. So let's cut a 1/2 inch. So I cut that at a 1/2 inch, and it doesn't go all the way across, but I can cut off here and then continue it. This is why I hang on to all of my scrap pieces. And then I could do my journaling in this area. Let's adhere the white to the mist. What I have found easiest for that, if this border was larger, I could do my tape runner and just go along it. But since it is so narrow, I'll just do a fine bead of my precision glue, and it stays wet long enough to move that into place. And of course it's not in line with my Versamat, so bring it back down. Actually, I did pretty good for just eyeballing it. Perfect. And it's already dry. Okay, stick that pin back in. So we can go ahead and adhere this, and I said that was at 7.5. I do like tacking my background piece down to the Versamat a lot of times, but we'll see how this goes. If we do this at about 3/4 of an inch, yeah. So I just have my micro tip scissors, and I'm just going to cut this right back here because I know it'll be hidden. And then I can kind of eyeball it. Okay. I might actually want a definition between that too. So let's bring in that ink pad again. Actually, no. We're gonna go directly to get a little more. So we're doing a lot of different inking styles today. Today is all about inking. There, look at how defined that is. I love it. So these I can use my tape runner. And these are all on the light side, and this one's on the dark side. I wonder how noticeable that's going to be. Oh gosh. Okay, I'd rather lift up 1 than 3. Let's just lift it and cut another one. Dang it. So if you're not familiar with Close to My Heart's cardstock, one side of it is the true color and the other side is the lighter, is a lighter shade of it. Do you see the difference? So I inked and taped the wrong side. So we are actually going to cut another one. And then we'll bring this one back in. Make sure this is straight. 3/4. Perfect. And then, as I'm playing around with this title, I try moving it down here, and I like that so much better. Why didn't I try that before? I love how it braces the photo. I like that a lot better, and then we can still add our journaling down below. I do want to fill in more of this blank space up top, so I'm just going to grab that same clock stamp and my mist ink, and I think I'm just going to do 2nd generation. So I'll stamp it off on my scratch paper over here and then stamp that directly onto my page. And let's bring that photo back in. That really filled it in more. Now I'm bringing in those Remember the Moment stamps, and this one says friendship on it. So I'm going to bring that in with my mink ink. I'm just giving it a second to soak in, and there we go. I like how it brings that mink down from that upper right hand corner. I do want to add a little bit more to these little white spots. So I'm looking back at that stamp set, and there's one that says Celebrate Everything. There's another one that says Captured Moments. We'll go ahead and go with that one. And we are going to stamp this one in our mink ink too. We'll go right down here, and that just kind of connects those two ink clusters that we have going on at the bottom. I have this little ink splatter stamp, so it's like doing controlled splattering. We're going to put that on a block and we're going to add some of that around to these clusters. I think that'll really finish it off. I'm doing some of the splatters in Mink and then some of them in Mist. And I'm just kind of doing the color that it's not going by. So if I'm going next to a Mist section, I'll add some Mink and vice versa. And then you'll see me bring in some of that scratch paper every once in a while so that I can make it look like it's coming out from under photos or paper that's already adhered. I am pretty happy with my stamping. I do think the splatters helped finish it off and gave those stamps a resting point. So this is how it looks, and I still have some white space down at the bottom for my journaling, which I will go ahead and share with you guys here in just a moment. I thought I'd show you all how I do my journaling. So I'm actually going to bring my journaling down here over the stamping. So I printed out my journaling on some Avery clear shipping labels. So you can just peel this white background off. I actually typed it in gray rather than black ink since I don't have any other black on my layout. And it's so light with all of the Mink and everything, black would have just been too harsh. So I brought in gray journaling to correspond with the Mink. So you can just peel off the background, and I'm going to put it right over here, right about there. And I can peel off that corner. And then I have this little Cricut scraper, and you can burnish it into the paper. So the more you burnish it and press, the more the clear shipping label disappears into the paper. In my journaling, I just state who was all there, the date, barely even see the shipping label, and all of that journaling is right there. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to get out your stamps and use them in a new way. If you got some helpful tips or liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys.